is in session. This is the Draft Seminar Rookie Profile Series hosted by Matt Hicks, the FF Educator, and I am joined as always by John Laub, the Gridiron Scholar. The entire rookie profile, or this is the Jahan Dotson rookie profile, and the entire rookie profile series is simulcast on the Rookie Big Board YouTube channel, the Rookie Big Board podcast channel, and of course, the NFL Draft Bible Podcast Network. You can check out more of John's work at footballdiehards.com. And you can check out all of my work, including the 80-plus rookie evaluations and the 2022 Rookie Big Board at patreon.com/the FF Educator. John, we are both equally fired up to talk about a wide receiver here that thus far is not getting enough hype, and that is Penn State's Jahan Dotson.
Couldn't agree with you more, Matt. As I've studied this young man over the past 4 weeks, he has jettisoned up my draft board. And Penn State is putting out talent at the wide receiver position. We have Allen Robinson, Chris Godwin, KJ Hamler, and Jahan Dotson is the next great Penn State wide receiver to enter the league. And I have him as a higher grade than KJ Hamler, and Hamler went in the second round to the Denver Broncos. There's a good chance that Dotson goes off in the first round. Let's look back at this young man's career. In 2019, as a true freshman, Matt, he started all 13 games at wide receiver, and he had 27 receptions for 488 yards and 5 touchdowns. Then as a sophomore, he was great. He set a Penn State record averaging 24.6 yards per punt return. His ability to gain yards in the open field and second-level vision is extraordinary, Matt. And the game where I fell in love with him, I rewatched this tape over the last 2 weeks against Ohio State. As a sophomore, 8 for 144 and 3 touchdowns. He just destroyed the Buckeyes in that game. Amazing game. Last year, second team all Big Ten, Matt, 91 receptions for 1,182 yards and 12 touchdowns. And let me just say this. Sean Clifford was the quarterback at Penn State. So let's just mull that over a little bit when we said he had 91 receptions for over 1,100 yards. He set a school record against your former employee, the University of Maryland, with 242 receiving yards on 11 catches. He finished his campus tenure among all-time leaders in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. He's one of 10 Nittany Lions to exceed 2,000 yards receiving in his career, and he logged 10 100-yard receiving games, second all-time at the school. But I went backwards, Matt. In high school, he was a 4-star prospect by ESPN and Rivals, and the number 13 player in the state of Pennsylvania. He was a 3-star athlete. But you see this speed that I'm going to talk about on film when you watch him, Matt. He won the Pennsylvania Interscholastic Athletic Association state championships in the 4x100 relay and the long jump in 2016. He won the Eastern Pennsylvania Conference crown in the 100 and 200 meters in 2018. A prolific sprinter in high school, Matt. What's your film study say about him on the football field?
Yeah, John, it starts with his fantastic hands, and it has to start right there. You alluded to it here, but Jahan Dotson has really consistent hands. You mentioned his size might be a concern here, but he has a really good catch radius for his size. And I got to tell you, you alluded to it, but nothing speaks to your catch radius like being able to haul in passes from Sean Clifford, all right? And so Jahan Dotson was well-trained on the off-target pass, and he can go up and get the ball at times as well. He is a great route runner. He runs a really fantastic slant route. He understands how to position his body. You know, when you talk about concerns about size, you want to see players able to do things that offset that. And his body positioning along with his catch radius are two things that help him, or help me, I should say, not be worried so much if he does measure in a little bit lower than some other wide receivers. He has very, very quick footwork when working through his routes. He's comfortable moving along the boundary. He's comfortable working over the middle of the field. He can run some nice combination routes as well. He can break defensive backs with that start-stop in the middle of a route. Really excellent comeback route, which oftentimes does speak to good footwork here. And a really nice post route. You mentioned it, John, but I saw Jahan Dotson absolutely tear apart at the second and third levels of the field. I saw that game live against Maryland this year. 3 touchdowns. He was an absolute game breaker here. And his athleticism, John, he's a fluid runner before the catch. He's a fluid runner after the catch. He has great vertical ability. He took direct snaps for the Nittany Lions. He can beat defenders to the edge when he's running the ball from the backfield. So he is a very versatile athlete. Now, John, on all of the rookie profiles, I've highlighted 3 strengths and 1 weakness. I don't have a clear weakness for Jahan Dotson, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to highlight another strength for him, and it's what you alluded to. It's his speed. Now, I do think Dotson is quicker than he is fast, which isn't a bad thing, but he can accelerate really well into that deep level of the field. I think he understands how to be fast at all 3 levels of the field. He displays quickness off the line of scrimmage. He displays that acceleration downfield here, and he hits a nice second gear through the middle of the field. So it looks really fluid and really natural. And for a defensive back, that's a real challenge when you're able to beat them in different ways. Let's dig a little bit more into the numbers here.
Matt, I only have one minor concern because I love the tape. It was amazing. He's listed at 5'11", 184. He did not get weighed and measured at the Senior Bowl. I am crossing my fingers when he goes to the combine or his pro day. He comes in at least 5'10", 180. I'm hoping we don't see a big dip. I say this, on film he looks bigger than KJ Hamler, but I do need to know his real measured size. And the numbers, Matt, are really, really tasty in my model. And I want to say one thing. When you watch the tape, Matt, I think Sean Clifford underthrew him like 80% of the time on deep passes. Matt, there are times where you literally have to see the Jahan Dotson. He slows down. Like he literally goes from 4th gear to 2nd gear to catch the pass. Now, the amazing part is he already has separation. He slows down to catch the ball, and then sometimes he gets tackled because that little slowness allows a defender. I think he might have left between 150 and 200 yards on the field because of underthrown footballs. I mean, it is pretty amazing when you watch the tape. If he has a quarterback that can lead him at full speed, oh, Matt. We talked before we recorded his landing spot. If he has that quarterback who can throw the ball like a Josh, just exaggerating, like a Josh Allen who would never underthrow him, oh my God. 183 career receptions, 2,757 yards, but Matt, 15.5 yards a catch at Penn State, 26 career touchdowns. And look at this past season. He was their passing game. And my friends, if you did not watch the Nittany Lions, they can't run the football. They finished in the bottom 10 in running this year. They had to throw the football, and he had a 34% dominator rating and a 62% catch rate, and it has nothing to do with his hands. Sometimes you see contradiction in statistics and film. You know why he had a 62% pass rate? Anyone can guess. It was the quarterback or lack of quarterback production. His hands are amazing. Matt, what your fantasy footballers know about Jahan Dotson?
I think we have to start here, John. We agree that he is a early day 2 selection. I have him going in the NFL draft late day 1 to day 2 mid here. So that's picks 20 to 50. And John, some potential high-end landing spots in that range. You look right there at the back end of that range. If he ends up with the Los Angeles Chargers, oh my goodness, what a pairing, right, with Justin Herbert there. So a landing spot could really help Jahan Dotson leapfrog into the top tier of wide receivers in this year's draft. Right now, he's in that second tier of wide receivers for me, but I think he projects out here as a weekly starter. So at the wide receiver position, I think over the first couple of years of his career, he's going to find himself in that wide receiver 24 to 36 range, a reliable wide receiver that you can plug into your lineup nearly every week here and get good results out of with a nice upside and ceiling. His ADP projection, though, John, he is that wide receiver that is sliding into the early to mid-second round because there's so much other talent here. But I will happily take Jahan Dotson. I think I'm going to have a pretty good level of exposure. I have him at mid. It could end up being a high level of exposure if he does continue to slide in that ADP. But of course, a landing spot could really bump that up. So it's a little fluid here with where we can expect him to go. But I think either way, I'm going to end up here with a pretty good exposure for Jahan Dotson. And John, I hope all of our viewers and listeners here are going to get a pretty good exposure to the entire Rookie Profile series. To do that, you're going to want to make sure you're subscribed and checking us out every week as we continue to work through our top 40 rookies here in this 2022 class. As always, we appreciate you checking out this episode of the Rookie Profile.